You're watching the Common Constitutionalist Weekend Video Podcast.
So hey there, my name is Brent Smith and I am the Common Constitutionalist, and welcome once again to the Common Constitutionalist Weekend Video Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Yeah, this is like 3 weeks in a row that I've gotten that right. It's I don't know how many years it's taken me to get that, but whatever. Today I was actually going to talk about something else that I thought was very critical, and it is, but I'm going to have to put that off for a day or two, because this was brought to light by Guy at Guns and Gadgets, actually, and this is so incredibly important that if it passes, as I said, this is the title of my video podcast. If it passes, say goodbye to your gun. That's what I'll be discussing today. This is a pretty long... I got a lot of notes. I'll try and blow through them as fast as I can, because as you know, I've been trying to shorten these things to make them a little more palatable. So anyway, I'll get started right after this. I don't know if you're aware of this bill or not, but I'm going to be discussing H.R. 127, which is House Bill 127. And it is the most radical gun grab bill any American can ever imagine. It intends to make it so hard to own a gun, it won't be worth it. It's not an outright confiscation bill like the Beto O'Rourke's, yeah, sure as hell we're going to come for your guns type of thing. No, that's not it. It's even more devious. It's even more... It's worse than that, okay? It's covert, not overt. It's not an outright confiscation bill, like I said, or a mandatory buyback scheme, but it will basically legislate the gun-owning American into the ash-heap of history. And if you think I'm being hysterical or over-the-top or hyperbolic, we're going to go through the actual bill, H.R. 127, not from some gun website or anti-government website. This is going to be directly, I pulled this bill directly from H.R. 127, directly from congress.gov. Okay, so I'm taking this verbatim, word for word. I mean, I've cut a bunch of stuff out because the bill is, in Washington speak, it's a tiny little bill. It's a tiny little bill. It's like 10 pages long or something like that. This is ridiculous. But as far as getting the job done, oh, it exceeds that. And it's submitted by Sheila Jackson Lee. This is the same person who claimed that the Constitution was 400 years old, and when she witnessed a rover on the planet of Mars, that we just landed a rover on the planet of Mars, she said, "What? What? Is it going to where the astronauts planted the flag?" I remember that. I can't remember. It wasn't in Houston. It was out in NASA or some sort of JPL in California. I don't know where it was. But at any rate, so it's that Sheila Jackson Lee. So, and before I get started on the actual H.R. 127, I want to explain for those who are unfamiliar. Most are familiar. The job of the Attorney General of the United States, and this will become clear very shortly why this is important. The job of the Attorney General of the United States is to represent the United States in court cases and legal matters. Okay. It's to give legal advice to the President and the Cabinet, and appear before the Supreme Court in important legal matters involving the nation or the federal government. That's the job of the AG, okay? And if you didn't know who the Attorney General currently is, the acting AG right now, okay, who would be responsible for all this stuff. It's a guy named Monty, not Monty Hall. Let's make a deal, because there ain't no dealing in this bill. It's Monty Wilkinson. And the only thing you need to know about old Monty is that he worked for Eric Holder. You know, Fast and Furious, Eric Holder, that guy. Gun grabbing, Eric Holder, guy who hates guns, wants to take them all away. Fast and Furious, you know the whole scandal of that. Yes, that Eric Holder, and Monty was his assistant. Yay, Monty. Alright, so here we go. And again, I'm not going to get into all the crap that's in there because this thing would, the podcast would take forever to get through. From congress.gov, in the House of Representatives, January 4, 2021, Ms. Jackson Lee introduced the following bill. Licensing of firearm and ammunition possession, registration of firearms, and it should say etc., 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 because that ain't all that's in here, okay? In general, the attorney, listen, remember, just keep remembering what the Attorney General's job is and what it isn't. What this guy's job is and what it isn't, okay? The Attorney General, through the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, shall establish a system for licensing the possession of firearms or ammunition in the United States and for the registration with the Bureau of each firearm present in the United States. So everybody's going to have to license their firearms nationally, and that's probably going to be in addition to whether you need licensing and registration of your firearm in individual states. This will probably be on top of that, not in lieu of that, okay? So, the Attorney General is going to run this thing. Is that his job? Nope. Nope, it's not his job. Doesn't matter anymore. Doesn't make any difference. Okay, required information. Under the firearm registration system, okay, because you have to register all your firearms, the owner of a firearm shall transmit to the Bureau the make, now listen very carefully, you have to listen to all these things very carefully, because if you miss something, if you're a gun owner and you miss something like this, ignorance of the law ain't going to save you, gang, okay, it just isn't. And trust me, when I say it ain't going to save you, you're going to need saving if you run afoul of these. The make, model, so that you have to register the firearm, the make, model, serial number of the firearm, the identity of the owner of the firearm, you or whoever in the house owns it, the date the firearm was acquired, and dig this, where the firearm is or will be stored. Why does that matter? It's going to be in a closet somewhere, in the hall closet, fifth drawer to the left or something. Why does that matter? Well, maybe if you want to go conspiratorial, it matters because when the authorities come rapping on your door saying, oh, we got to take your gun away for whatever reason, they know exactly where it is. As the Guns and Gadgets guy said, what if you're a potential thief and you're looking to steal a firearm to do other ne'er-do-well things? You go on a site, registration site, and we'll get to that in a minute, and you type in, Joe Blow, address, blah, 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 and it shows exactly where they keep their firearms. So you don't need to go searching for the house to steal a firearm. That'll be good. Okay, and there's a bunch of other stuff, like you have 3 months to comply to the law, and if you don't, I'll get to that later. Then, with all that information, the Attorney General shall, not can or may or whatever, shall establish and maintain a database of all firearms registered pursuant to this subsection. The Attorney General shall make, listen to this. Remember when I said the guy, the thief, could go online, or the government, or whoever could go online and find out where the guns are, who owns them, where they are, and where they're stored. The Attorney General shall make the contents of the database, all the crap that they collected, accessible to all members of the public, all federal, state, and local law enforcement authorities, all branches of the United States Armed Forces, and all state and local governments as defined by the Bureau. In other words, basically, it's available to literally everyone on the planet, Okay. Licensing. Yes, you'll have to have a federal firearms license. What a deal. And remember, for all these things, there will be a cost involved, and the government ain't going to pick up the cost involved. Just saying, okay? General license, except as otherwise provided in this subsection, the Attorney General shall issue the... Boy, the Attorney General is going to be one busy guy. He's not going to have a chance to do anything else other than this crap. The Attorney General shall issue to an individual a license to possess a firearm and ammunition. So you'll need a license to possess ammunition. This is awesome. If the individual has attained 21 years of age, so if you're 18, forget about it. You won't even be able to buy ammunition or keep or hold it, okay? And you certainly aren't going to be able to buy a firearm. So basically, your Second Amendment civil right, it's guaranteed in the Constitution, affirmed and guaranteed in the Constitution, if you're between the ages of 18 and prior to 21st birthday. Well, if you're between the ages of whatever and prior to the 21st birthday, have been wiped clean. You don't have any rights. Isn't that great? After applying for the license, here we go, undergoes a criminal background check conducted by NIC, the National Instant Criminal Background Check System. Okay, my guess is you're probably going to be charged a fee for that. Listen to this. Undergoes a psychological evaluation conducted in accordance with paragraph 2, doesn't matter, and the evaluation does not indicate that the individual is psychologically unsuited to possess a firearm. According to who? Who makes the rules? Who sets the benchmarks and the guidelines for the psychologist to do that? Is that the Attorney General who sets the guidelines? What constitutes psychologically unsuited? Okay, you see where this is going? They can basically, the language is purposely vague, because that once this is in writing, the Attorney General can do anything they want within the purview of this stuff, okay? They can make any psych evaluation tell you anything. They can demand anything from that psychological evaluation. If you say you own a weapon and you enjoy shooting it, that could make you unsuited to own a firearm. Don't believe me? Watch and wait. And I hope to hell we never find out. You have to successfully complete a training course certified by the Attorney General. What does Monty know about training? What does Monty know about guns? What does Monty know about gun safety and handling and tactics and all these other things? Probably jack squat is what Monty knows. But it's got to be certified by the Attorney General in use, safety, and storage. That includes at least 24 hours of training, okay? So you have to get a license, you have to get a psych evaluation, which you're going to have to pay for. You have to get 24 hours of training, which you're going to have to pay for. And then you, upon issuance of the license, okay, you ready for this? The individual will have in effect an insurance policy issued under the subsection. Again, do you think all this crap is going to be free? Wait till you find out how much the insurance is going to be, because they say this right in the bill. You know why they know it? Well, I'll leave you in suspense. How's that? Military style weapons license, okay? Basically, a military style weapon, according to these people, is any weapon, whether it be a rifle, a shotgun, or a pistol, that doesn't look like an old-fashioned, old-time wooden stock, either a revolver, like the G-men used to use back in the 30s, the 38 Special, or a woodstock shotgun or a hunting rifle or something like that. If it looks anything like other than that, it's a military-style weapon and will require an additional military-style license and additional training, which is going to cost you more, okay? So you see where this is going. All right, it's not a gun grab per se, but they're going to make it so expensive and so onerous for you to buy this thing, so cumbersome for you to buy and maintain a weapon in your home or wherever, that it's just not going to be worth it. That's the whole plan. That's the purpose of this thing. It's not for anything other than that. Okay, so you have to have at least 24 hours of training, as additional training and live fire. So you got to go through all this whole licensing thing, the training thing. Then you have to have military-style weapons training, and you have to have live fire training. Okay, of which you're going to have to buy additional ammunition for and pay additionally for the training. Then you have to have a psych evaluation, same thing. And the evaluation is, again, conducted in compliance with the Attorney General, who apparently knows all about everything. The evaluation, psych evaluation, is conducted by a licensed psychologist approved by the AG. On what grounds? We have no idea. We don't know. As deemed necessary by the licensed psychologist involved, the evaluation including a psychological evaluation of other members of the household in which the individual resides. So not only you, okay, but if you have a family, everybody in that family has to get a psych evaluation to determine whether you are sane enough to own a weapon. Do you see where this is going? Okay. As part of the psych evaluation, a licensed psychologist listen to this. Okay. Will interview any spouse of the individual, any former spouse of the individual. This isn't me. I'm not making this up. Look it up, congress.gov, HR 127. Look it up, it's right there. Any former spouse and at least 2 other persons who are a member of the family of or an associate of the individual to further determine the state of the mental, emotional, and rational stability of the individual in relation to firearms. And all this, again, is going to be paid for by you. It's not going to be a free service. And could you imagine, we don't all get along with our ex-spouses, okay? Some of us are friends, like me, with our ex-spouses. Terrific. Some of us are mortal enemies. What do you think an ex-spouse that's a disgruntled ex-spouse will say about you when you go to get, when they get a psych evaluation regarding you, what their opinion of you is going to be? You don't stand a chance of ever getting a license to own a weapon. No chance at all. Denial of the license. The Attorney General shall deny a license if the individual is prohibited by federal law from possessing a firearm. Duh. Can I get a duh? The individual has been hospitalized with mental illness, disturbance, or diagnosis, including depression, homicidal ideation, suicidal ideation, attempted suicide, or addiction to substance control, or a brain disease, dementia, or Alzheimer's. Wow. Or upon evaluation, the psychologist determines the conduct of you or your behavior or whatever, according to you or others, endangers yourself or others. So in that way, the Attorney General can deny you a license if the psych evaluation comes back and the psychologist says this guy shouldn't own his ex-spouse says he's a crazy person, and believe them. And we have to believe them. They're the ex-spouse. Why would they? What would they lie for? Why would they lie? I mean, honestly, this is what a setup this is. So again, this is all a setup. This is every single thing that they can every single roadblock that they can possibly put to a potential or present gun owner to say, we have to take your guns away because you're a threat. Okay, you're a lunatic because somebody says you're a lunatic, therefore you're a lunatic, or whatever. They're just putting roadblocks upon roadblocks, not to mention the fees and the expense of the licensing, and we haven't even gotten to the insurance, and here we go. Authorization. Okay, this is suspension of a license, authorized for lack of firearm insurance. Like I said, insurance, yes. You got to get it, and you got to love it. Here we go. A license issued under the subsection to an individual who is or becomes prohibited by law or federal or state law from possessing a firearm, such an individual shall immediately return the license and surrender all firearms and ammunition owned or possessed by the individual to the Attorney General. So I guess you have to drive to Washington and you have to present your firearms and your ammunition to the Attorney General, and then, yes sir, may I have another type of thing. Okay, so if your license expires, blah, blah, blah. In the case of a license, I'm not even going to go in this. Renewal, you got to renew your license every once in a while. And every time you renew a license, you have to take 8 additional hours of training. And then you have to pay for the license, you have to pay for more training, you have to pay for a psych evaluation every single time. You got to do that too. And you have to pay for the insurance. The Attorney General shall issue any person who has applied for a license pursuant with subsections blah 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 and has paid to the Attorney General, so you have to make the check out to Monty Wilkinson, I guess, the fee specified in paragraph 2, whatever, in the subsection of the policy. So all these things and whatever have to pay, okay? And the insurance policy is for 1 year. The fee specified, the insurance policy fee specified in this paragraph is $800 a year. $800 a year. You got that? On top of all the other crap you have to pay, licensing, training, all the other fees, the evaluation fees, and everything else, you have to pay $800 to maintain insurance on your gun. I don't know whether that's insurance on every $800 for every single gun. It doesn't say that, but it might be. So if you own 4 or 5 guns, you're talking $3,500, $3,200, $3,500, $4,000, whatever the hell it happens to be, for your gun collection. Could you imagine, okay, watching some of these gun guys like Collier Noir with all the guns on his back wall? There's nobody could afford that. No one could afford that, if that's the case, and I don't know whether it is or not. Okay, military-style weapons. You have to get an additional license and additional training for military-style weapons. And a military-style weapon, basically, like I said, is any weapon that doesn't look like an old-timey revolver, a semi-automatic weapon, whatever. Most people have semi-automatic, black, scary pistols, okay? And shotguns, black, scary shotguns, maybe with pistol grips on them and things like that. Black, scary, long rifles like AR-15s. With a pistol grip, and whatever, and also magazines that hold more than 10 rounds, which is almost every magazine known to mankind, and virtually all the clips, except for you get into compact and subcompact weapons, whatever, it doesn't matter, okay? And you need specialized training, you need to pay for the specialized, all this stuff is ridiculous. But if you run afoul of these dozens of rules and not rules and regulations, this will actually be a law. It will be an unconstitutional, anti-constitutional law, but it'll be a law nonetheless. So if you run afoul of any of the paragraphs of all this crap, you need to conform to, and even out of ignorance, again, ignorance is no excuse for not following the law. We all know that I just didn't know about this stuff. It doesn't make any difference. Here are some of the penalties. Whoever knowingly violates Section 922AA, that's the licensing, registration, insurance, and all this other evaluation bullcrap, listen to this, shall be fined not less than $75,000, and not more than 150 G's, imprisoned not less than 15 years, and not more than 25 or both. Not can be, not might be, not may be, but shall be fined and imprisoned. So, just by running afoul of any of this crap that I already discussed, okay, you will be fined a minimum of 75 grand, and you will go to prison for a minimum of 15 years. And that's the shall, okay, that's the shall, okay, it ain't the may or the might or the, whatever, okay. Whoever knowingly violates section 922B, you loan your gun to somebody else, or you let them use it without, without notifying first the AG, okay? You have to send them a note or a text or something, I guess. Everybody gets the AG's cell phone number, I don't know. Shall be fined not less than, again, here's the shall, 50 grand, not more than 75, shall be imprisoned for not less than 10 years, not more than 15. So that's a great deal, okay? Because the other one was not less than 15, so this is not more. So it's getting better. Whoever knowingly violates 922BB, section 2, you either sell your weapon or give it to somebody without informing the Reichstag, shall be fined not less than 30 grand, not more than 50, in prison not less than 5, and not more than 10. So this is actually pretty good. If you sell or give your gun away, at least you're only going to spend 5 years in a slammer and owe 30 grand, maybe. Okay, so there's a lot more fines and jail times and whatnot. some bad, some as bad, some worse, some not as bad, whatever. But just to know that if you run afoul of any of this crap that you will pay, both in years in prison, shall, not will, not maybe, not may, or not might, or it's left to the discretion of the AG or anyone else. You shall be fined this, and you shall a minimum of that, and you shall be in prison for a minimum of that. Okay? There you go. Okay, so prohibition on possession of certain ammunition. So, it is unlawful for any person to possess ammunition that is 50 caliber or greater. You got one 50 cal round anywhere, and you run afoul, and then it reverts back to the penalties, the jail time and the fines. Okay. It's unlawful for any person to possess a large capacity ammunition or ammunition feeding device, and that is 10 rounds, more than 10 rounds, period. That's the term large capacity feeding device. It doesn't make any difference whether it's a clip, a magazine, belt fed, drum fed, it doesn't make any difference what it is. If it holds more than 10 rounds, you're afoul of the law, you're going to prison, and you're going to pay a huge fine. So it's going to end up being like debtor's prison too. Whoever violates section 922DD, that's being caught with 50 caliber ammo, will be fined not less than 50 grand and not more than 100, and will be imprisoned for 1 round of 50 caliber ammo that they find on your possession or in your home or whatever. 10 years in prison, not more than 20. And if you're found with a clip or a magazine or a belt feed or whatever the hell, drum, whatever, that holds more than 10 rounds, it's a $10,000 minimum fine and a 1-year minimum prison sentence. So, there you have it. H.R. 127. This has a good chance of passing, particularly if they're able to get, as the guy in Guns and Gadgets said, if they're able to get rid of the filibuster rule in the Senate, where it's a two-thirds majority to pass these things. If it's a simple majority, it could, worst case, it's going to be tied, and then Kamala Harris, and yes, I pronounce her or her name on purpose wrong because she's such a subhuman whatever. This could very well pass. It's unconstitutional. Yes, it's anti-constitutional. It takes away all our rights. But they don't care about that. They're just going to jam this thing through if they've got. They learned, again, I've said this before, they learned from 2010 to 2012, they had the whole thing, same as they have here, majority in both houses, the presidency, Obama, and whatever, and they didn't do enough. Relatively speaking, they did jack squat relative to what they're doing now. That's why you get 40 executive orders in the first couple days of Biden's presidency, That's why all this stuff is being put on us in hyperspeed, a ludicrous speed, because it's just that important to them to jam all this stuff in, get it on the books. You see how vague all this stuff is. It's up to the Attorney General to do this or that, and it's up to the Attorney General. And where they really want to sock it to you, to put the, they shall be imprisoned, they shall be fined, they this and that. Everything else is vagaries, psych evaluations, ammo, whatever. It doesn't make any difference what it is. It's up to the Attorney General. It's up to the guy that probably doesn't know squat about guns or ammunition or anything else. So that's all I've got. This is of major importance. Please, if you do nothing else, just share this. Pass it along. If you don't want to watch this, if you don't want to put anyone through the pain of watching this face, as handsome as it is, as fabulous as I am, if you don't want anybody watching me, just tell them to read H.R. 127, okay, by Sheila Jackson Lee, the Martian flag holder. That's all I got. My name's Brent Smith. I'm the Common Constitutionalist. Share, like, comment, subscribe. Please, we need to continue to get the word out, because eventually all of us like me, even the small-time chumps like me, will be shut down on YouTube and whatever. So please subscribe to me, and let me keep doing what I'm doing, and let all the other constitutionalists keep doing what they're doing. That's all I got. See ya.